Hello, beautiful friends. I am very, very excited about this Leo season ahead. Just author's bias right up front. I am a Leo, Sun, Mars, and Mercury. And this is a very special energy to me. It's one that I love very much. And I'm excited to come back to in myself, actually. I feel like over the last couple of years, I've been exploring other aspects of myself, other more hidden aspects of myself. So coming back to Leo energy always feels really, really good. And it's a great reminder. And I think, happy birthday to all Leos out there. But even if you are somebody who doesn't have a lot of Leo in your life, or, you don't really connect with this energy, I think on the collective level, this is always a helpful energy. And I think this year, it is really going to help us to anchor into heart-based movement through the world, as well as courage. And I think both of these things are so beautiful and helpful and are really at the core of Leo's energy. So today we are going to talk about Leo season 2022. I'm going to start off by kind of talking about what this sign's all about, debunking a few teasing myths about it in pop astrology. And then I'm going to talk about some of the big themes I'm noticing for this year's Leo season. We will then go through some transits that I see popping up, how to work with those, what to look forward to, and then we will pull some cards to go with each week of the month. So we're really going to cover it all here and give ourselves a nice little roadmap for working through Leo season. And I will be looking over to the side here because I have a lot of notes, and I can't keep it all straight without having a little bit of organization on the side. So let's get into it. All right, are you ready? Okay, so Leo season, it's generally July 22nd to August 22nd. It is the fixed fire sign of the zodiac, and it's associated with the fifth house of the heart chakra, of children, of creativity, of romance, of royalty as well, and leadership. So it's big, bold energy, bright colors, just big presence of energy. It's the image of the lion is really tied to this energy. It is regal and powerful and just here in full force. And fixed fire is very committed. It's very loyal. It really focuses in on those things it wants to create and move through in the long game. So this is very focused and sometimes intense energy. I think Leos in pop astrology often get teased for being very, very egocentric and wanting all the attention to be on them all the time. And to be fair, all fire signs get teased for that. That's just like one of those things. But Leo energy is often criticized for being egotistical, selfish, self-centered, only wanting to talk about themselves, needing all the attention all the time, being a little bit petty about it. That's the joke. But of course, Leo energy, because it is heart-based energy, because it's associated with creativity, romance, visionary energy, and really at its core, it's about courage, which is moving from the heart. The root of that word has to do with the heart and moving from it. So really, if you just want to strip away all the other stuff, this is about activating our heart. This is about moving from our heart space and listening to it as a leader more often than not. Of course, Leo energy, because it's associated with kind of a monarchy or leadership, it does have complexities to it, right? Because we do have issues with abusive leadership, right? And we can see how this idea of a monarchy or a person at the top of the pyramid is problematic. And that shadow side of Leo is something that I think as a collective we are exploring. We've been exploring for a very, very long time around here, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And yes, that's something to look at. That's something to explore. And, the parts of ourselves that are like needing attention and external activation or affirmation, yes, that's something that we can all look at. But Leo's heart and soul is about the courage to be yourself in this world and to share your gifts with the world and have them be seen. I recently saw on a write-up somewhere on the internet about Leo season that it's all about everybody climbing to be the one that's on stage and have the spotlight. And And I thought that's such a erroneous way of looking at Leo's energy, because it's not about this pyramid system where only a couple people get to be on the stage and have a voice and everybody else is going to get stepped on and trampled. It's about coming home to ourselves and sharing the gifts that we want to share, right? It's like not all of us are going to want to be rock stars and singers. Not all of us are going to want to have the microphone in our face, right? Like some of us are going to want to create very quietly out in nature by ourselves in the silence for many, many days at a time and just be fine with that. Some of us are going to want to knit communities together and help people meet each other. Some of us are going to want to put ideas together and write it on the page. Some of us are going to want to do practical, logistic stuff that help things get done. There's so many ways that having the courage to be ourselves and to share our gifts to the world is going to look. It's not this competitive field. I think also it's about having sovereignty in ourselves, about having a sense of I am in control of me. I am in control of myself, my body, and how I move through the world. And I think that's a really important energy right now. It's a sovereignty from within that really gives us a confidence and a clarity about how we're moving forward. And once again, that's a courage thing. So that's kind of my breakdown at the essential level of how I think about Leo energy and why I think it's so important. It's important to want to shine bright, right? This sign is ruled by the sun. So this is about really owning the furnace and the mechanism within you and shining bright where you are meant to shine bright and feeling that autonomy and that sovereignty in yourself. This is about shining the light and allowing ourselves some freedom from our haunted houses and from our deep, dark wells where, yes, the shadow is important to take care of and love, absolutely, but also to just love our whole selves and be out loud in the world. This is just a time to take some of that weight off and be here and just shine bright. So yes, there we go. Main themes for this specific Leo season for 2022, because every year it's a little different. We're going to be working with a little bit of different energy. So main themes here: 1, anchoring really with focused energy on love, focusing and committing to that energy is going to come up time and again. We're going to want to get pulled in a million different directions and get thrown for a loop here, there, everywhere, and use up all of our adrenaline and all of our, resources in our body and our nervous system. This season is going to call you back, call your power back, anchor in here, anchor into this heart, and then move out. So that's going to come up a lot. Internal growth is going to accelerate during this month. So while I was just saying Leo season is about the joy and the playfulness of creativity, because this also is a sign that rules children and that free spirited ability to just move through the world and play and explore, I think, and that's so fun, there's going to be an acceleration of understanding our internal growth at this time, and that's going to be amplified, and we'll get into why in just a moment. Pieces of the puzzle that may have not been making sense up until this point in the year are going to come into greater clarity and focus. It's going to be easier to understand why and how certain pieces moved the way that they did. And along with that, this is a really, really great season to anchor in and find your footing on who you are, who this year has been asking you to become. It may have felt a bit scrambled up to this point, a bit overwhelming, a lot of different elements coming in and out and things shifting and moving around. But in this Leo season, it's going to help us get a sense of our orientation into who we are and how we have been developing into that this year so that we can take it forward with us from that anchored, centered point into the next season, which is going to be a very potent and powerful season. So this is about, I'd say the word anchoring into your heart is going to be the key here. Also the courage to share and be who you are. So let's talk about how this is showing up in the transits in the month ahead. Of course, the sun moves into Leo around July 22nd, opening that door. We're shifting out of Cancer season, where we just did a lot of emotional connecting and a lot of exploration of deep parts of ourselves. So this opens up some new energy. That first week, we're just going to be getting our feet in there, and then we are going to hit right into the new moon in Leo happening on July 28th. This new moon is going to trine Jupiter and Aries. And this new moon is also happening the day that Jupiter stations retrograde in Aries. And that will go for a good chunk of this year. The next several months, we're going to be having Jupiter retrograde in Aries, and then a little bit into Pisces, actually. But during this time, right, this new moon and the conversation with Jupiter there and Jupiter stationing retrograde, this is a time of deep inner maturing. And can really amplify and grow this. I actually really like Jupiter retrograde because while Jupiter is associated with expansion and movement out in the world and things happening, when it goes retrograde, it helps us do that internally and to catch up with the external changes. So it can really help us to grow and mature. And it goes back to that theme that I had about the anchoring into the maturity and the sovereignty that we need to have here in this center so that we can move out in the world in meaning, in love. And I mean love in a very grounded, focused way. And so this new moon is really going to help us do that. I think sometimes, I'm a very dreamy person. I like to float around out there on Jupiter, be in some floaty, dreamy, fantastical energy. That is a place I love to do my creating and my visioning. I think there's this other part of it too, though, and this new moon is highlighting that, and this Leo season is highlighting that, which is just really setting ourselves up to act in love in our lives, in our day-to-day lives. And I think that's exactly what this new moon is going to be showing us. But of course, we will do a whole video on the Leo new moon, and I'm really looking forward to exploring that with you. And I'm looking at my notes here because once again, I got a lot to cover today. Jupiter retrograde is also going to be not about the performance of being well, connected, in flow, whatever themes are coming up for us, the performance of whoever we think we need to be in the world. This is going to be about the actual lived feeling inside of us and focusing more on that during the time that Jupiter is in retrograde. So just a reminder too that we don't, a lot of times there's this pressure to perform what we think we need to be. And I think in this age of the internet, this age of TikTok and me here on YouTube, here I am doing it, right? That we've got to have a certain image externalized, and that's going to be pressure there is going to be taken away to create something more organic in here. So that's going to be a theme with Jupiter retrograde. Okay, then we hit into August and Mars and Uranus meet up in Taurus. Wow. These are two very powerhouse energies. I think, in the more stress-based version of astrology, Mars and Uranus are often talked about as kind of agents of chaos and mayhem in a way. To me, these are energies that are very focused on change. They don't want things to be status quo. They want to change it up. They want to break up old patterning. They want to challenge what we think of as this is me and this is us and this is them. They want us to break some of those down. So for me, this conjunction, which will last a few days, is going to be about aha moments, breakthroughs into unfamiliar landscapes, and also putting puzzle pieces together that may have been missing for a little while or that you feel like you just didn't get the clarity you needed on. So this is going to be packing a punch, I will admit, but I'm really looking forward to what comes of that meeting because it is a catalyst for change. On August 3rd, Mercury moves into its home sign of Venus. And this is going to emphasize for us as we move through the August portion of the season, attention to detail. And I really like that because sometimes, our brains are naturally designed to kind of take in information and then just look at our usual map. But I think Mercury and Virgo can actually help us see little details we've missed before and help us to see the world with fresh eyes. And that can be really useful. So I'm looking forward to that transit quite a bit. And we'll get into Virgo it's coming next. I'm very excited to have a little breakdown of that energy and where it's been teased. I'm really looking forward to that. Then we get into full moon on August 11th. We have the full moon in Aquarius. This full moon is... Full moon in Aquarius is one of my favorite full moons of the year. It's always revolutionary to me. This one is conjunct Saturn and squaring Uranus. So I'll just put that there. And for me, initially, when I look at this, and once again, we'll do a whole video on the Aquarius full moon and how to work with it. I'm really, really looking forward to those themes. This is going to be about letting go of the story about how we think things should be. Just loosening our grip on that. You know, we all have the shoulds, you know, whether it's something that we think, you know, we often police ourselves into the shoulds. We might have other people we think should, the world should. We get really gripped into those shoulds. So this full moon is going to challenge where we are saying, it has to be this way, it should be this way, it needs to be this way, and really getting us to think, once again, outside the lines, outside of the familiar. So it is going to challenge us. It is going to ask us to really get clear. And it's just going to be an interesting full moon. Then Venus enters Leo around the same time as that full moon. And Venus in Leo, this is creative, bold, romantic, playful, just ready to try things out. And I would say just take advantage of that energy, because for me, Venus in Leo is about the play of life. Somebody mentioned in the comments a few weeks ago on one of the videos that they're just tired of like the healing. Like, are we ever going to be done? Are we ever just going to be okay? And for me, Venus in Leo is about emphasizing the other part of the journey, which isn't about all the hard shadow work and all the, you know, the things that we do to be here and to move through things, which is so important. I'm a big fan. But Venus in Leo is just going to amplify the play side of things, the creative side of things. So whether you're feeling romantic, you're wanting to get out there and date, you're wanting to amplify your relationships, or you just want to have a really abundant creative time, this is going to be a fantastic transit for trying things out, playing and splashing with colors. And I am so happy to see that kind of energy moving through, right? Because I think we all need it. Then on August 14th, the sun is going to oppose Saturn exactly. And so this is going to be about balancing and harmonizing where we are growing and where we are allowed to take it slow. I think, you know, we normally have different paces on different things. Certain things are moving slow, right? They're moving at like a pace that maybe we would prefer it to be faster. However, maybe that's okay. Saturn's going to ask us, is it okay for this to take a little bit more time? Are we allowed to do that? This opposition is also going to say, where is it okay to be bold and step up and just show up and start? So there's going to be some questions exploring that. I will probably get much deeper into that over on Patreon. That's going to be an opposition that I'm really going to want to take a moment to feel through with my loves over there. So I'm really curious about that. On August 20th, Mars is going to enter Gemini. So Mars has been in Taurus for a little while, where it is challenged and it is asked to explore different aspects. So as it moves into Gemini, this is going to amplify conversations and clarity in conversations and desire to have conversations that maybe felt hard to have. So it'll be interesting to see how we explore that. And then finally, the sun moves into Virgo. And like I said, we will get into Virgo. I'm so excited for that. So yeah, this is an impactful and very bold and very juicy Leo season. There's a lot of energy here that is just like, just go for it, just try it. But there's also a lot of energy that says the wisdom is going to be in noticing your maturing and your anchoring inside first. And all external action outside of that will reflect how we're anchoring. So it will be very interesting. It's going to be a very honest time. It's going to be a time of really getting honest with ourselves and getting a lot of clarity. And I'm looking forward to that personally. And I think, you know, with moving through a fixed sign like Leo, it can really help us ground and reconnect on the long range vision, and not just on what's here right now, but also on the bigger picture. And I think we'll see a lot of that in the coming weeks. So I'm going to pull 4 cards, one for each week-ish Three of Pentacles of this month. It's a little more than 4 weeks, but this is how the Sun. Hello. Yes, I love it. 2 cards wanted to come out. Page of Cups, 6 of Pentacles. Very interesting. Okay, let's get into it. So, 3 of Pentacles. This is about collaboration. At its essence, this is about when we connect with people who see our vision with us. They might have different tools, they might have different perspectives, and yet we can all help each other. This is such a beautiful card. And I think it's really interesting that this card came up first because, like I was saying, so often Leo energy is teased for being about like wanting just the center stage and wanting the spotlight to be on them and nobody else. And so I think it's really interesting. The first message came up was about cooperation and connection. And that what this card makes me think about always is how, like, in receiving help, in allowing somebody who has a skill set you don't have, maybe they're good at accounting. Oh my God, I would love to have like a really good trusted friend who is good at accounting. I don't have that yet, but I would be so grateful to their wisdom. So just putting that out there, universe. This is an example, right? It's like, I would feel, it's like we really receive love and are able to take our own spotlight in receiving help from others who do their beautiful things. So I think the first part of this week, this Leo season with the new moon and that Jupiter retrograde, it's really like about appreciating the whole organism. It's really about appreciating our part in it as well as other people's part in it and really connecting those dots. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think that's actually one of Leo's gifts, is a connector. It's the ability to connect people and really harmonize. And, that leads right into the Sun, which is the Leo card, one of them. This highlights for me in general one of the tenets, the core pieces of Leo energy, which is to remember to play and get inventive with that play. I think that this is an energy that's so important. So often it is demonized as being irresponsible, careless, thoughtless, right? In ourselves, we'll often police ourselves away from this kind of play. But a core of this season is going to be about letting this come in. Letting this play come in, because there are solutions and ideas that come out of this. There is a level of presence that comes out of letting ourselves play, even just for 10 minutes a day, that can help us make impact and change things. So both of these cards are about the joy of receiving help, receiving other visions from others, receiving that sense of place within the whole, as well as amplifying your own furnace and playing in there. As we get into the second half of Leo season here, we've got the romantic guy, the Knight of Cups. I love this energy. This is an energy of vision, of the beautiful things that want to come in. Truth, love, poetry, and beauty. And whenever he shows up, I always think this is a time to be in poetry, be in the poetry of life. And how important it is for us to hold that vision as a center point. Will it get every practical thing done? Will it answer every question? Will it be the one that makes the phone calls, writes the emails, shows up to the meetings? No. But it will fuel our hearts. It will fuel our spirits and our souls. It will help us be here. And that is a medicine that is so important right now, I think. It's another playful energy. It's another energy of a play and vision and anchoring in with intention and boldness into the beauty we want to bring into this world. So that theme keeps coming up with these cards. We have our final conversation piece here, the Six of Pentacles, as we close out Leo season. I guess we're moving in to more Virgo energy, but I love this card because it's a rebalancing of power and justice. Justice is about rebalancing. It's about, I think that word, it's associated with rebalancing where people need food or resources. those resources getting put where they need to be put, right? And so this is a card. It's a reminder that something's getting rebalanced at this time. Things that are stolen, things that are taken unfairly cannot be retained, And it's so interesting. Those cards came up for the full moon in Capricorn, actually. I'm realizing now, sitting here, it's so weird they came up again. And that message came up again. Things that are taken unjustly cannot be held. And so there's also, I think with all of this visionary energy, Three of Pentacles, the Sun, the Knight of Cups, these are such visionary, dreamy energies that want to hold a vision of something beautiful long enough to allow us to take the physical actions to make it come into the world, right? So it's about holding the vision. And then at the end, we have the Six of Pentacles, which is saying that in the end, things are shifting. So in holding that vision, we're doing something bigger than just even what this Leo season is comprised of. So this is just, once again, getting anchored, getting centered, honoring your heart-based energy, honoring that commitment to living truth, love, and beauty in the poetry of our lives is impactful, does create new environments, new conversations, new breakthroughs, new connectivity with all of us, especially if you're an introverted, sensitive person like I am, more of us getting connected and being able to work together to inspire change in the world. So this is an exciting and very potent season. It's a little serious, right? But it's also, I think, the seriousness of play and the seriousness of belief and the seriousness of joy. As funny as that is to say. So I'm very curious to see how this season plays out for you all. As I mentioned, Patreon, I will be diving into each of these aspects that are coming up, each of these conversations. I join you every single week for that, along with worksheets. There's definitely going to be some Jupiter retrograde worksheets, some Chiron retrograde worksheets, I think. So I offer a lot of extra support over there. And often I have a few spots in my upper tier where we meet up on Zoom and we hang out and we talk about things and we activate things over there. So if you're looking for a little more community, I really hope to see you over there. You can also find me on my website and my Instagram. There's only one true Sarah Verba, so just follow the one handle. There's always dupes floating around. And I hope you subscribe and stick around. We are going to keep exploring this beautiful Leo season ahead. I will see you for monthlies very soon. Have a gorgeous Leo season, my friends.